share his story, and from there, the world took an interest. Later that same year, the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime published the first major report on forced criminality, as they called it. Public awareness of pig butchering scams has only grown since, and Troy, he's a major reason why. These days, he sees himself as kind of like an information curator. He's across all the local reporting from NGOs and media in Southeast Asia, and he distills this stuff into updates on his LinkedIn and his Facebook. So he's a big resource for journalists, law enforcement, and anyone who's been scammed. In fact, at the end of this episode, I'm going to provide details on how you can reach Troy if you've been scammed and you need some guidance. But right now, we're going to take a break, and when we're back, we're going to check in on Q, because he is plotting an escape plan.
Deakin is the #1 university in Victoria for course satisfaction and graduate employment. Why? Because at Deakin, your career doesn't launch after graduation. Your career develops from day one of study. With work-integrated learning, develop the real-world skills you need. Get the confidence that comes with being career-ready, and graduate with a degree employers want. Ranked in the world's top 1% of universities. Why settle for less?
Do you remember the brand that popped up while you were scrolling your social feed? No? But I bet you remember who sponsors your favorite podcast. That's because 74% of listeners recall the brands they hear when listening to podcasts. If you want your business to be top of mind, podcast advertising with Acast is the way to go. Book your campaign today by visiting go.acast.com/ads. .com/ads.
The pickup point. You've arrived near the pickup point. It's on your left.
Welcome back. Okay, so you remember Small Q, right? Our Ugandan rapper.
You're near the pickup point. We suggest contacting and waiting for the rider.
Only to end up enslaved. Well,
Hello,
at this
how
part
are you?
of the timeline, Q has been incarcerated for a few months. He's got into the rhythm of survival, but he desperately wants to get out. And he's considered climbing a fence, but the problem is they're huge and they're topped with razor wire. And also he's stuck in a country in the middle of a civil war. Q actually told me he could hear gunfire and explosions most days, so he gunfire and explosion. Most days, so you can imagine that kind of headspace. He's decided best bet is to try to get an SOS message to the outside world. But that's hard too, because the scammer farm uses AI to monitor all outgoing messages on the computers, and all of the phones that he's running scams on, they're checked all the time. In fact, here's what Q said.
A supervisor comes randomly, just checks what are you texting, the telegrams on the computers. The telegrams on the computers were screen mirrored on these guys' computers. So they monitored us, each and everything we're doing.
Got it.
But at this point, I was someone called Zilong. He called me once in his office and told me, I'm going to teach you something. It was 2 patches. I'm going to teach you something. It was 2 patches USA numbers. Going to that office, I was able to see a lot of unused phones there, like phones that are not being used in that room. It was almost 100 phones, iPhone SEs.
100 iPhones, just unused, sitting on this guy's desk. And Q figures if he can just pocket one of them, he can get word out to the outside world.
So what I had to do was to look for a way to access that office, and that only way was to deny working so that they take me to that office, because that's what they told me. If you fail rules and regulations here, you gonna take you to our office where you won't even survive a day.
So Q decided that he'd refuse to work, so they'd take him upstairs to the boss's office to be punished, where hopefully he was going to be able to swipe a phone.
I refused to type for some hours, so the supervisor came to me and said, "Why are you not working?" I didn't reply to him. "Why are you not working?" I didn't reply to him. He said, "I'm going to call your boss." Reply to him. He said, "I'm going to call your boss." He didn't still do anything. So he communicated to him through Telegram because I saw him texting. Then he was told to pick me up and take me to the other place.
Small Q was bundled into this upstairs office where he found the boss was already punishing a teenage boy. And I just want to... already punishing a teenage boy. And I just want to warn you, from this point, the story gets...
I saw a Chinese young boy, younger than me, down on the floor on handcuffs, being electrified by this guy. That's what I found him doing. But this guy looked to be even, what can I say, uncautious. But the guy was still punishing him. So I knew this is what is going to happen to me now. I was in my black jumper. It had some pockets here. I know he tried to remove it, then I said no, don't get it off me, because I knew it's gonna be so painful when you put that electric stick on me. These guys holding me like this, then they started electrifying me for almost 30 minutes. But nothing I could do, man. These were like brutally guys holding me.
Just for anyone who is unclear about what a taser is, it's a stick with an electric current coming out of one end, and it's used to electrocute people. Tasers are the most common form of punishment through all scamathons, so you're going to hear about them a lot. Which is why I want to play you a short clip. It's a clip that was shot on someone's phone, and it's been... smuggled out of a scamathon, and it's of a prisoner getting tasered. And I want to show you this just to highlight not just what Q went through, but what everyone in these compounds goes through. And heads up, it's horrible, but it'll be over in about 10 seconds.
Imagine that for 30 minutes. The pain is unexplainable. That's what I can tell you, my brother. You feel like you don't even think about anything. Your brain freezes. About anything. Your brain freezes. They are animals. That's the right word for them.
I mean, animals don't behave like this. They're far worse. These guys are sadistic.
Doing this to me was actually laughing. But I didn't forget my plan. Right there, as I was kneeling down, I was near a table. Because I used to fight, heading the other side of the table which had the phones. I'm from a Christian family, my brother. I wouldn't say stealing is something good, but at this point I had to do it. I stole a phone from this table and I put it in my pocket.
How did you do that while you were getting electrocuted?
These guys were focusing on other stuff. He was shouting to them and they were replying to him. So it is this moment that I used to access and get that phone very quietly and put it in my pocket in that jumper. I knew there were cameras, I knew there were everything, but I just prayed to God because I actually also prayed to God because I actually also knew they were gonna check me when I'm getting out, because they used to check each and everyone who was coming. So I put it in my pockets, and I knew either I go out alive, or if they know alive, or if they know that I have taken this phone, I'm gonna die in this place.
Hearing Q tell this story makes my hair stand on end. In this compound, if someone had decided to frisk Q as he left the office, it wouldn't have been. Frisk Q as he left. It wouldn't have ended well.
Leave around the guy I saw dying. Each and every day we used to look for people that, where's this guy? Where's this Ethiopian guy? We don't see him. This Ethiopian guy, we don't see him anymore. They were always killed and put on rivers, and their bodies were taken.
Yes, my brother, really. People would just disappear, and you'd never know what happened to them.
I was able to go out of this office safely. The fact that I was being punished, so the bodyguards wouldn't mind. They knew I couldn't do anything suspicious. So God helped me. I passed, that door. I was taken back to that office. I just pulled out this phone and I put it among these ones. So that's when I was able to, between that. So that's when I was able to get that phone from that office. Getting it inside, the dormitory, my guys were just celebrating. We're like, man, you've got us out of this place. They actually rose me like this. They're like, man, you did it. Now we have access to communicate to our people back home. My guys were so happy, and we had the hope now that we're gonna communicate back home. Actually, the phone I'm talking about, actually, I have it even here. They came back with it from that hell.
This is the phone that saved your life. Wow, that's the best looking phone I've ever seen. I mean, it's like an iPhone S from 10 years ago, but it's a life-saving phone.
It was like a souvenir, something that I wanted to come back with, to know that I was able to get out of that place.
Next episode, we're going to continue to follow Q's story of escape. And heads up, it's very exciting stuff, so subscribe, don't miss the episode. And if you find yourself a victim of a romantically related crypto scam, or maybe you know someone who is, you might be looking for advice, Troy says he'll be happy to help. In fact, here's what he said.
Look up the Global Anti-Scam Organization. Our website is globalantiscam.org. Email the press at globalantiscam.org. I answer the press email. Maybe I can save somebody, or maybe they can tell somebody and save them.
Thanks for listening, and if you're enjoying it and want to support in a small but very meaningful way, please subscribe. And a big thanks to Judah Tanner from Global Advanced Projects, without whom this series would not have happened. Scammerland is produced by Rachel Tuffery. Editing is by me, Rachel Tuffery, and Jamie Snyder. Mixed by Jimmy Saunders, who also did our sound design. Our cover art by Rich Akers. Our interns are Nina Fussell and Ellie Dickey. And this whole thing has been a Super Real production.
Super real.
Vodafone have doubled their network coverage so you can do business in more places. Be a plumber in Ulladulla or sell mangoes in Mount Bindango. Search Vodafone Business or call 1300